Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Adastra with your host, Fallenwolf. Oh! So, how are we all doing today? Oh, let me fix my microphone. How are we all doing today? Are we making sure to stay nice and healthy today? And bright, beautiful, sunny days. And it is I just found out about an hour ago. It's the first day of spring. First day of spring, just in time for some more Adastra. Isn't that a great thing? I'm doing very well, Wolfriff. I'm doing very good. Excited to keep going, continue on with this visual novel. Excited to see what happens next. Um, just a side note. Today I was downloading the Resident Evil 3 remake. There's a demo that just came out today. It's very good, by the way. I didn't play too much. It's really good if you're interested in seeing how it is. It's not that long. It only took me about 20-25 minutes. It's not that long, but it's good. It's good though. It's free. Can't hurt. It's free. I was surprised my computer can handle it. Like I said, I would just call my computer maybe a mid range. Not the greatest, but it's not that bad either. So, anyway, I'm excited to keep going with this game. I'm loving it. I was so hurt though. I was so hurt the last episode. If nobody to anybody that's new to my channel playthrough or whatever, the last episode we got Amicus did something that hurt our character. If you're really curious what happened, go back to the previous episode, which was part 5. Um, First of all, what are you doing on this part? Go the hell back and watch through the playthrough. It might take you a few hours, but it's worth it. And then, secondly, so it was really hurtful. I did talk to a friend who plays a lot of visual novel games, and he was telling me there's a reason for it. And I got a little bit of what Amicus was trying to say for why he did it, but it still hurt. I was like, you could have told us about this. And even the MC admit, because I don't get me wrong, I love Amicus. I wouldn't be honest with you, when I first played this visual novel and I found out that there's no other love interest to. Oops, hold on. Okay. When I found there was no other love interest, I was a little worried because that's really not common for a visual novel to have no. Seems like if you would have told me about this, I probably would have let you do it, but now I'm hurt. So I want to see what's gonna happen because this was no love interests besides one. Um, but they did such a well job. Uh, Team Echo, I'll just call him Team Echo's Echo Project, but we'll call it Team Echo. Team Echo did a phenomenal job making a character that you're so interested in. Only one love interest, but he's so interesting that he's so interesting that I let it slide, and he really is. Like, you really do feel emotional with, you really feel this relationship. So I give him credit, and that's really good because, like I said, most visual novels you always have like 5-6 people to choose between. The least I've ever seen before this visual novel was 3. Three, I believe. Repeat is only 3 options, and there's another one that's out. I think there's another one that only has 3 options, and I can't remember. Neko. Oh, I can't believe I forgot. Nekojisi has just 3, but so I was a little curious when I found out there was only one, but I like the relationship that's happening, and I want to see what's gonna happen more. Right now, I'm hurt. I freaking love Amicus, and I'm so hurt right now, but I'm gonna make it through because I have to make it through for you guys. Um, but finishing up my message, I hope everybody is doing all right. I hope everybody is being safe during this time period, what we're going through right now. Sending my love from the U.S. of A. Uh, and also sending my love as the fallen pack leader. I love all of you, and I want to make sure that all of you are doing well, and I hopefully that all of you are making it through in your own ways. If nothing else, hopefully these little videos are helping you guys get through the day. Just sit back, relax. A nice probably about 2 hours. For the next 2 hours, just sit back and join me in a little journey in a planet called Adastra with a wolf emperor called Amicus. All right, so we're gonna get started. I think I've talked long enough. and I know what everyone's here for. Oh, wait, one more thing. That being said, real quick, as I say every other time, feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe to the channel, and please, please, please do not be afraid to send me private messages or even comment down below any other visual novels you'd be interested to see me play. And as I said before, they don't have to be furry. They can be regular visual novels, and they don't even have to be gay visual novels. They can be normal visual novels. I play anything. I'll play just about anything. So, with that being said, now we can get started. Right. And everybody can hear okay, right? There's no issues with the volume. There's nothing wrong, right? Just want to make sure everybody can hear perfectly. Because I'm ready to play this. I'm excited. I'm excited and worried at the same time. Because the second trial starts. And now we have, I'm sure Amicus, this is on his mind. It's on our character's mind. Because if we don't win this, Amicus voice line request. Alright. You can throw some at me. Granted, it might not be the best voices. I don't know. Amicus is, I'm not too upset with the way I do Amicus. I think it could use a little work, but I'm not too upset with it. Honestly, ironically enough, I think probably my favorite voice doing for this game so far has been Cassius. Cassius is a fun voice to do. I love that whiny. I love doing whiny voices. Alright, so let us start. When I wake up, it takes me a while to realize where I am. I stare at the flowers and leaves gently lit up by the garden lights until I remember that I'd fallen asleep there. Groggily, I call out for calm, and according to him, I've only been out for about 2 hours, but the sun here always moves fast across the sky. I brush a few leaves off my robes as I get up and walk toward the palace, realizing at this point that I can't exactly avoid going back to Amicus's room forever. At least, it'll force us to talk about things after we've cooled down. At least, I hope he's cooled down. My pace starts to slow as I get closer to his bedroom, unsure what to say after everything that happened. I decide I'm going to apologize, but also expect an apology from him as well. We both made mistakes, but we could get past this if we talked it out. Dinner is still sitting next to the door in its cart, untouched. I pause, my hand hovering over the panel, remembering what I saw the last time I opened this door. Shuddering, I steel myself and press it. The room's empty. No wolf in sight. Cold air creeps out of the room, chilling my bare calves as I continue to stand in the hallway. I realized then that I was holding in my breath and I let it out slowly. I look up and down the hall in case I might see Amicus, but as always, it's empty. With a soft sigh, I slowly walk in toward the bed before changing direction to sit on the sofa instead. Common told me that it was the 18th hour, which means Amicus should be getting ready for bed by now, a schedule he follows almost religiously. Maybe he's getting ready for the trial somehow. That would be good, but I'm also getting the uncomfortable feeling that he's just avoiding me. That would be bad, because despite what happened, he shouldn't be thinking at all about me. He could be the Emperor tomorrow. So I sit there, hugging a pillow, waiting. After a while, I grab the food from the hallway and manage to eat a little bit. I wonder if I should save some for Amicus, but decide that he'd be able to get his own food from the kitchens instead of these cold leftovers if he ends up returning. So I send the rest back with the drones and continue waiting. After a few more hours, Amicus still doesn't come back, and I end up lying down on the sofa, waiting to fall asleep. Amicus didn't come back. That's... okay. I was like, oh, he didn't come back to the bedroom. The sound of the door... They... See what I mean? Like, they almost have a relationship already. Like, it's almost like they're almost like... It's almost like a married couple where, like, you're mad and, like, the one spouse doesn't sleep in the same bedroom because they're mad with each other. I love the relationship though. Like, I'm just mad because like it seemed like everything was going well, and then Amicus does this, and I'm like, Amicus, all you had to do was talk to us. The embassy even says he probably would have agreed to it if you would just explain the situation to him. Said, listen, I did this to help you out in case something goes wrong. I'm sure the embassy would have he would have not liked it, but he would have let it happen. Like, I don't like this, but I know why you're doing it. So, Amicus, gosh, he's such an idiot. But he's so cute. He's such a... he's so well-meaning, but he does make some stupid choices. I hate it. I hate it. He's so well-meaning, though. The sound of the door opening jolts me awake, and I quickly sit up, turning to look. Amicus? Oh, fuck. Neferu, this is the worst time to show up! Neferu, why are you here? Neferu, And it's a shame because I kind of liked. I liked the playful flirt, but playful flirt, not more than flirting. And you did more than flirting, and now I have to hate you. Oh, that's a funny one. Okay. What is this McDonald's you speak of? Earth has strange names for food. That was Wolfrith requested that, so if anybody's wondering why I suddenly changed to Amicus, that was why. I stare at the jackal for a moment, feeling a sudden surge of anger in my chest. Hello, Mark. Are you not coming to the trial? I look around. What time is it? The 7th hour, which means the trial starts in less than an hour. Where's Amicus? Preparing for the trial. He hasn't been back all night. He was meditating most of the night. All night? Indeed. I frowned. Yeah, was he was meditating all right. I hate you, Neferu. I like Neferu a little bit now because I'm like, oh sure, he was meditating. Sure, I'm sure is that what you call it? I frowned at the jackal. What do you want? Nefer walks further into the room slowly before stopping in the middle, a good 15 feet away. To escort you to the trial, if you'd like, and to also talk. About what? I've already told you that you don't need to play stupid with me, Mark. I sit up straight, turning to face the jackal more directly. The music is so low. Hold on, the music is so low right now. I can't win because it's either too loud or too low. I think it's a little better. I'm not. I'm just wondering why the fuck you have the nerve to show up here after taking advantage of Amicus like that. Oh, no. Go back. Go back. What? I don't think I've ever seen Neferu caught off guard, so the sight is kind of funny. I smirk. Well, that's certainly a way to look at it. What other way is there to look at it? Plenty, if you'll let me explain. I sit back on the sofa, crossing my arms. Amicus already explained. I become your pet to protect me from Cassius, and in exchange for that, you made him fuck you in the ass. Wow. Blake, okay. We might just be a little bit angry, because we're really blunt right now. Again, the jackal looks shocked, and he laughs to sound high and soft. Oh dear, there are many ways to look at this, aren't there? His suddenly cheerful mood irritates me. Listen, I honestly don't want any part of this. Yes, but you are already a part of it, whether you want to be or not, so please allow me to explain some things. I don't say anything, keeping my arms folded, my expression bored. The jackal seems to take that as his cue to continue. Amicus approached me about this deal a week ago, shortly after the incident with Cassius. It seemed simple enough, and I had to agree with him. Your position in this power struggle is becoming ever more precarious. I raised an eyebrow. How so? The rumors about Cassius's intent to disband the Triumvirs have saturated the trial, even though Cato has banned all discussion of it. Word is that Cassius has realized who might have started the rumors. Nefer looks pointedly at me, though I try to keep my expression neutral. This has implications for you, obviously, but not only because you possibly sabotaged his chances at the throne. I feel my stomach turn a little, realizing I've gotten myself into way more than I ever intended. This also brings into question your intelligence. Far too intelligent for a simian, wouldn't you say? I open my mouth, but Neferu goes on. Now, with all of this considered, it was only natural for Amicus to come to me for help. Your life is in danger, Mark, no matter the facade these peaceful palace halls might project. I stare at the jackal, surprised at how candid he's being with me. He asked me what I wanted most, and I answered truthfully. An alliance with the wolves if Amicus were to become emperor. Of course, he declined outright, as he should have as the prospective emperor. How could he promise something so important with so many implications, all over one pet? Hey, listen, buddy, I'm not just any pet. I'm Amicus's pet. Makes all the difference in the world. So, knowing that was impossible, I offered something a bit more selfish on my part. copulation with the handsome son of a woven emperor. To this he only needed a few moments to agree. I grimace. But I want you to understand something, Mark. If Amicus had found even that disagreeable, I would have simply asked for nothing. It is the duty of all Chemians to protect any sapient fleeing woven violence, whether they be sibling, child, or abandoned. Pet ownership is illegal where I'm from, and the idea is quite disgusting. Don't you agree? Neferu glances at me. But wolves love their contracts, and no matter how different Amicus might wish himself to be, he is still a wolf. He despises the idea that he might own something to a Chemian. And his quickness to accept the deal showed me that despite how much he wanted to not want to fuck me, as you put it, there was a part of him that did. In the end, he was willing. I look away frowning. And I think this is something that has caused a rift between the two of you. You must understand that sex is casual here. It means nothing more than indulging in our corporal desires. It's one of the few cultural similarities we share with the wolves. I've been told that simians are more similar to cats and that such things hold much more meaning. But you are no longer in Simia and must understand that things are different here. Even if he wants to, which I believe he does, Amicus can't change his philosophy over the course of a single week. I finally find room to speak. You're acting like we're in a relationship or something. You aren't, but you want to be. Amicus loves you. It's clear as vita, as they say here. By the way, if nobody knows what that word means, vita means life in Latin. I feel that little thrill in my chest and my face blushes furiously. Oh, he wants it. See? He still cares. He still cares. We still care. Neferu goes on like he didn't actually just say that, though. So, yes, if you don't like the idea of Amicus fucking another man, then claim him as your own man. Ooh, Neferu telling us to go get our man. Neferu just like, boy, go get your man. Go get your man. Come on now. I frown. Claim? I'm going by woven terms here. I'm sure you have your own. Did Neferu just ask me to ask Amicus out? Now, does that clear things up for you? Even though I just woke up, I'm already feeling exhausted. I guess there was a little more to it than that, though. Which I'm sure can be settled in the future. Civil discussions can do wonders. Now, we really must be going to the trial if you're wanting to go. Neferu raises an eyebrow at me. I find myself shaking my head, but not to deny the jackal his request. Rather, it's because I don't know what the hell this guy is up to. I get up and Neferu offers his arm to me, which I stare at. Shall I escort you? This is something I'd seen the jackal do multiple times to Virginia and Alex. For some reason, he seemed to really just enjoy escorting people around. After his little lecture, I can tell that he's trying to smooth things over between me and Amicus. So, reluctantly, I reach out and take his arm in both hands, if only to please him. And pleased he seems to be, tugging at the corner of his muzzle, making me think he's trying not to smile too much. As he guides me out the door, I find myself feeling out the fur on his arm. It's much more silky and smooth compared to Amicus, not quite as fluffy. It's not as nice as Amicus's coat, but it does feel nice in a different way. There's a lot of muscle there too, and I wonder if the jackal works out in the amphitheater. Oh god, I can't say that word. No, I've never seen him there before. I guess I can see why so many people are into this guy, if muscles are your thing. I mean, Amicus has muscles too, but I would call his more a Bara style, which if nobody knows what that means, it means you got like, it means you're like, not quite fat, but you're like chubby with muscle, compared to Neferu, who seems like he just got a well-toned body. Because Amicus does seem like he's got a little bit of a gut, but he's got muscle underneath of it. As we continue through the halls, I notice we're taking a different route than the one to the throne room. Where are we going? To meet the star of the most sustained entertainment show in the galaxy. What better way to determine the fate of all things, siblings and parents alike, than through meaningless, woven spectacle? What? Neferu pauses in front of a door, gently pulling away from me while his paw is held delicately up to the panel. What I'm saying is that quite a bit is depending on your wolf right now, and he might need some encouragement. I'm still staring at the jackal when he finally presses the panel, opening the door. When I look back, I find myself looking into a much smaller room, simple and bare, just a bed and dresser. There is stick with the calming smell of incense as it creeps through the hallway and washes over me in a warm wave. And there, sitting on the bed, is Amicus. Before I can look back at Neferu, the wolf suddenly looks up. We both stare at each other for a moment, then the wolf is suddenly on his feet, stumbling toward me. He stops himself halfway across the room, though, paws clasped in front of himself. I've never seen him so deceived before. Oh, he was... I hope it doesn't mess him up in the trial. His fur stuck up all over his neck and shoulders, his cape is askew. His eyes are red and blurry. Before I know it, I'm walking into the room toward the wolf. Are you okay? Amicus tried to smooth his fur down, but it sticks right back up. I'm fine. I was just meditating. You look awful. Isn't the trial in less than an hour? Yes. There's a moment of silence that goes by as I just stare at the wolf. Are you going then? You should get ready. Mark. I stop waiting. The pause is long, and when Amicus finally speaks, his voice is so quiet I can barely hear it. I don't think I was meant for this. My heart sinks. Meant for what? Everything in this damned empire. I've done absolutely nothing right. Everything has been handed to me on a platter my entire life, but the first time I actually have to fight for something. I know you don't think I took this seriously, but I did. I tried. I wasn't prepared, and you were right. I see a little wetness around his eyes, but he aggressively wipes at them with an arm. Well, weeks ago, I might have welcomed this epiphany. This is the absolute worst moment for it. I couldn't even keep my best friend. I would have been a terrible emperor. It takes me a moment to realize that he's talking about me. Amicus. I'm sorry. I didn't tell you everything. That I treated you poorly. That I got you into this stupid mess in the first place, and that I can't get you out of it. The wolf's voice catches on that last part, and I wonder with some astonishment if I'm actually going to see him cry. But he manages to hold it together, looking down at the floor. I just wanted to do what was best for you, but I wasn't thinking of you while I did it. I was inconsiderate, and I'm sorry. Amicus stands there quietly, apparently finished. I don't know if this is more about me or about him feeling inadequate for the Empireship. I have no doubt that our little fight yesterday caused it, though. Seeing the wolf like this, it hurts, but it also makes me kind of angry. This isn't the Amicus I know. I reach up, setting a hand on his shoulder, and he suddenly looks up at me. You're less than an hour away from becoming the Emperor. You need to act like it. What? You think your dad would have acted like this when he wasn't sure of himself? Your grandfather? Drusius? There's a time and place, and now is not the time. I don't know if they would have, but I'm grasping at straws at this point. Yeah, the song actually maxes pretty well. And honestly, this is about a lot more than you or me or anyone here. This is about the lives of millions of sapiens, about your entire empire. You think it all deserves to go to shit because suddenly you're not really sure of yourself? You're such a good person. Basically the opposite of what this society is. And you want to put that into your rule? That's amazing. But now you're suddenly willing to give it up? What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, you made a bunch of mistakes, but that doesn't matter now. What matters is that you make sure that piece of shit brother of yours doesn't take the throne. So you better get your ass out there and beat the hell out of him in this stupid debate. I'm not sure what else to say, so I stop breathing hard. After a moment, I realize the wolf is smiling at me, and it takes me a moment to calm down from my Hollywood movie pep talk. What? I am going to go out there, Mark. There's no doubt about that. I was just having a moment. I was trying to be more honest with you, but thank you. I frowned. Well, you sure picked a hell of a moment to have it. I know, I've just been having a terrible time after yesterday is all. I needed to apologize to you. I deflate a little, but there's some relief there too, seeing Amicus somewhat back to his old self. I forgive you, but this is a lot bigger than us right now. I know it is, and what I'm feeling is a lot bigger than us as well. The wolf sets a paw on my shoulder. But I'm honest about what I said. I'm sorry, and I will never do anything involving you without your consultation again. And I will take your cultural differences into better consideration in the future. I look up at Amicus at its earnest face, and I find myself hugging him, and he hugs me back tightly. We still need to talk about things, but we can do that later. You need to kick Cassius' ass first. Oh my gosh, I love the relationship between these two. Oh my god. They do not act like they just met. Like I know game time it's been a few weeks. This is more than a few weeks. This feels like you've been oh man, I love it. Oh. Okay. This changes my whole aspect of visual novels. You can really have a visual novel focused on one relationship and it still can work because this is great. I know. Amicus pulls back both paws on my shoulders now. And I will. There's a gentle clearing of her throat behind us, and we both look back to see Neferu casually lounging in the doorway. It's like, oh, we forgot about Neferu's here. Neferu's just hearing all this. Like, ooh, interesting. If you're finished, the trial begins in 30 minutes. Immediately, Amicus scowls at the sight of the jackal, but he nods. I'd better get going then. So you're feeling better now? Much better, thanks to you. I smile as I feel a wave of relief, even though this is just like Amicus to be so easily cheered up. I allow the wolf to pull me toward the door. Neferu moves out of the way as we exit the stifling meditation room. Alright, I'm on my way to a shower. I'll be watching the rhetoric thing. I mean, I'll look for you and we'll talk after this. Aww. Yeah, we'll talk after your emperor. Alright. Amicus leans in to kiss me on the lips, then pauses before planting it on my cheek instead. With that, he winks, then turns and dashes up the hall, running at a full sprint. Oh, why didn't you kiss on the lips? I know, we have to I know. We have to focus on the child, but damn it! I want to see you kiss! Kiss already! Well, no, they did kiss earlier, but that was a drunken kiss. It doesn't count. Ah! I was like, oh my gosh, are they gonna kiss? I know. I'm sorry. We have to focus. Focus on the trial. We're here for our semi-boyfriend to become emperor. We gotta focus on that. I was hoping though. I hear a soft chuckle behind me. Well, that went rather well. I didn't think that would be half as easy. I glance back at the jackal as he basically reveals he's been planning this all along. I guess it was obvious. Shall we head to the throne room? They'll be wanting us sitting down early so they can film us. The whole thing is a dreary spectacle, after all. Alright. With that, I followed the jackal toward the throne room, hoping that what I'd said to Amicus is enough to get him in the right headspace to help him win. That was a long sentence, oh my gosh. In just a few hours, I'll know if I'll be leaving soon, or staying for a long, long time. Either way, I'm just glad that this happened. Oh boy. Alright, trial's coming up. Amicus, you better win. Alright, Hal, come back soon. Trial's starting. The trial is starting in 5 minutes, everyone. Please be seated at this time. I followed Neferu to the throne room, the cavernous space just as empty as it was during the first trial. Like the first trial, though, a few of the palace regulars are sitting on the benches, Virginia on the left side of the room while Alex sits on the right. The cat is sat alone, looking tiny compared to the rest of the room, his tail curled neatly under his paws in his lap. He smiles when he sees me, and I make as if to go sit next to him, but that's when the jackal grabs my hand. I pause and I see Alex's own inquisitive look before I turn to Neferu. What? Why don't we give Virginia some company? The jackal smiles at me gently, one of his ears flicking in the direction of the she-wolf. You can. I was gonna go sit with Alex. Neferu's expression doesn't change, but he doesn't let go either, and his voice takes on a gentle but ominous tone, making me feel a little uncomfortable. That's what I was thinking. Neferu kind of reminds me of Darius, like in the sense of like Darius is. I think honestly deep down Neferu is a well-meaning person, but I think the way he goes about, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's like Darius, where like he's well-meaning, but the way he goes about things is always related to like sex somehow. And it's the same thing with freaking Darius. I mean, what we're playing right now, remember, Darius got us with Spencer because he literally hired a person to pretend they were groping us and waited till Spencer was gonna be around to find out. So, and in this case, Neferu's like, sure, I'll help you. He's like, sure, I'll help you. I'll help your possible boyfriend, but in exchange, I get to have sex with him. And it's like, okay. Depending on how this trial goes, we may have some business to take care of before it officially ends. It would be best if you were close to me. It's then that I realize what he's getting at. Although I don't know what the process of becoming Neferu's pet is, I imagine it involves some sort of official business like signing something. So I give Alex a little frown and shrug, gesturing at the jackal. The cat continues to look confused as I turn away and follow Neferu to the benches on the other side of the room. I kind of understand what he's getting at, though, because he's saying if Cassius wins this trial, he's emperor. That's it. He's emperor. And Cassius doesn't like us. I think Alex likes us to a degree, but Cassius doesn't like us. And Cassius said, listen, I'm gonna kill this guy. And I'm like, I don't think he's gonna go that far, but he's probably not gonna be too friendly with us. Neferu. Virginia sits daintily on the bench, one leg elegantly crossed over the other as she holds up a paw, which the jackal kisses. Good day to you, Virginia. Even though I try to stay behind Neferu, Virginia appears. Oh gosh. See what I mean? This music is constantly either too loud or too low. And I hate. Why is it like you can't just adjust the music? It's either super loud. I can't win. It's either it's too loud or it's too low. Hold on. That's the only thing. The only issue I have with this visual novel is the music is always not working right. Like, it never works right. It's either like... alright, sorry. Do I have any other music I could play at this time? I kind of want to play some other... I don't really have anything that's gonna match this though. Oh, by the way, I downloaded some more Natsu soundtrack yesterday, and there were some good songs. I'm probably gonna save them for like. All right, there's gonna be no music for the time being. I'll try to fix it later. I feel like when it goes to a certain scene, if the music's already playing, you can't adjust it, which kind of sucks. But even though I try to stay behind Neferu, Virginia peers around the jackal's muscular side to stare straight at me. I see that you've brought a guest. She holds out her paw again, and it takes me a moment to realize that I should kiss it. I did start that trend after all. Indeed, Amicus requested I keep him company during the trial. As I come up from the paw kissing, I see Virginia frowning. My brother shouldn't be burdening you with a silly chore like that. The pet is capable of staying in his room, I imagine. It was a mutual agreement. Besides, he is rather good company once you get to know him. Oh, really? It seems our little simian is full of surprises. The she-wolf looks pointedly at me, and I don't have much time to wonder what she's talking about before Neferu is sitting down next to her, pulling me to a side to sit next to him. That would be an accurate observation. There's a momentary pause before I see Virginia lean forward a bit out of the corner of my eye. When she speaks again, her voice is lowered. So, the rumors are true. There's another pause, this time from Neferu. Alright, I'm gonna try it one more time and see if it's... Because it's so weird with no music. It sounds so bad with no music. See, like, and when you mute it all, it's either mute all or not mute it, and then it's like, there's nothing playing. Alright. See... And I can't lower only that. Oh, I can actually. We're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way, guys. Old-fashioned way. There we go. Do it the old-fashioned way. I don't believe I'm in a position to speculate on that. It is not my place to involve myself in woven politics. Virginia laughs softly, one that sounds completely fake. I'm not a fool, Neferu. I may enjoy your suave tactics, but I'd rather you not use them against me. I would not dream of such a thing, Virginia. Surely. Virginia shifts again, and now I know for sure that she's looking directly at me. So, I suppose he understands what we're saying, then. Hold on. Well, he is sapient, and he does possess a linguo. I mean, he understands us. Virginia puts even more emphasis on the word. Oh, she knows. I see Neferu looking at the floor, still smiling, though his paws seem to clasp each other a bit tighter than usual. You know better than I, being a wolf. Our children are as intelligent as ourselves, so I'm used to such an idea. Don't feign ignorance, Neferu. You've been around him far more than I have. It's a simple question, and one that you should answer honestly. Otherwise, am I to assume that you've brought a little spy to our conversation? Although the words seem harsh and dangerous, Virginia's tone is light, and Neferu just laughs. You accuse me of deception, yet we both know you've already figured out the answer. Why do you feign ignorance? The wolf fans herself with an air of nonchalance. It's the best weapon in discourse, and it's easy to feign stupidity, at least for me, and it is expected on my part. And why would you say something like that? I have a vagina, Neferu. Oh, shit. What the hell? Wow! That response. Okay. I would hope so, Virginia. I mean, granted, I don't know how woven culture works. I could be surprised, but I was assuming that you had a vagina. But I wasn't. Okay, that was a sudden response. I was not expecting at all. Alrighty then. That was sudden. Oh boy. It takes me a moment to absorb what Virginia just said, but Neferu's already chuckled with what's probably the first genuine laugh of the conversation. I see Alex look over at us again, and this time it looks like his eyes are narrowed a bit. It takes the jackal a few seconds to get himself under control again as Virginia continues to wave her fan, looking rather pleased with herself. Sorry, I'm not used to bluntness here. It's not impossible for us to be blunt on this moon, Neferu, especially amongst friends. I notice the wolf's looking at me again, and once again I look down. Anyway, it seems we've made quite the mistake in overlooking Semia. I may have to do a little research of my own in the archives. Amicus clearly knew something that we did not. Research? I feel my stomach drop. Although Amicus had assured me of things, I don't even know if I really look like a simian. All it might take is a picture to know that I'm not actually from Semia. I try to put that thought out of my mind for now as the door suddenly opens and Cato walks in, making his way quickly to the throne. Virginia finally takes her eyes off of me, and I can only hope that she's not going to follow through on her research plans. The throne room is so quiet that I hear the old wolf grunt as he makes his way up the stairs before turning to face us. After a few seconds, he sits down, his heavy muscular body slouched a bit in his seat, gazing out at us through his visor. A few more moments pass in silence, and just as I'm wondering if the trial is going to begin, I hear a soft mechanical whirring sound as the panel in the ceiling opens up. A dozen camera drones drift down lazily, fanning out in the air to position themselves in various locations throughout the room. One of them floats towards us and hovers just above our heads, the lens seeming to focus on my face. I drop my head again, the action having become second nature since I landed on this moon. Neferu nudges me, though. Come now, Amicus brought you here to be seen. His tone is light as always, but I sense he's not saying that just to tease me. We're all playing a role here, and my role is to make Amicus look good, to show off to the Triumvirs that he went to great lengths to obtain an exotic, fascinating alien pet. I might not like it, but that doesn't matter right now, so I lift my head. Instead of the dumb, vacant gaze I've been using this past month, I go for a completely straight face. Watch the red light on the top of the drone. When it turns green, know that you are being broadcast. The second trial will begin in 10 seconds. Ooh. With that, the lights slowly dim and everything goes completely silent. I just sit there, looking toward the throne, Cato sitting as motionless as an ancient Roman sculpture. Then the doors open and we all look over, including the cameras. Oh boy. In walk Amicus and Cassius, side by side. They must have been waiting out there next to each other, just like Alex and I had been before the second trial. I have to wonder what that must have been like. Without a word, the two of them walk up the broad, carpeted aisle and sync with each other. I stare intently at Amicus as he passes, just in case he looks at me and I can give him an encouraging smile. He looks straight ahead, though, a more serious expression on his face than I have ever seen. Everything stays quiet, the only sound being the muffled shuffling of their padded feet and claws on the carpet. Once they reach the foot of the stairs, they come to stop before they both bow deeply to Cato. This lasts a few seconds before Cato finally shifts again, breaking the illusion that he was made out of stone. Very good, you may proceed. With that, the two brothers straighten back up before walking up the steps, splitting off to stand to either side of the acting emperor. They turn around and face us, both standing at attention, arms straight down at their sides. A drone levitates down from the ceiling, coming to a gentle stop midair in front of Kato. I notice the tiny red light on top of the drone turn green, and the old wolf fixes his eyes on the camera. Welcome to the trial of rhetoric. Rhetoric has long been a staple of woven civilization and one of our greatest assets. While known for our strength and tenacity, so too are we known for our use of words in negotiation. Neferu snorts next to me, loud enough that I wonder if Kato was able to hear it. I hope not. This is why it is not only important that we honor the art and history of debate today, but also prove our ability to use it well. Being a competent rhetorician is essential to being a competent emperor. Remember the rules. You will have the floor for 20 minutes. Do not reference your challenger. Now, Amicus. I see the slightest of twitches in Amicus's frame as he continues to stare ahead. Yes, Emperor. Please honor Adastra and proceed to the floor. Offer your policies to the art of speech. There's a slight pause and Amicus makes his way down the stairs. If he's nervous, which I know that he is, he's not showing it at all. His movement's calm and reserved. He walks several paces forward away from the stairs to stand in the middle of the aisle, just slightly ahead of me. He's so close and I wish I could just say something, get up and give him a hug and tell him that he's going to do great. But I know that time has passed, that the moment that everything has been building up to has just arrived. It's a strange feeling, watching something that's going to have such a huge impact on your life, but not being able to participate at all. I can only hope that Amicus is ready. He begins to speak, and when he does, it's not like his usual voice. Instead, it's deeper, broader, sonorous, I guess. Actually, it's closer to human singing. Sorry. 20 millennia ago, we were chosen by the Romanists. Out of 1,000 species, they chose us, and was that not for a reason? He's moving his arms and paws a lot, too, in broad, sweeping motions. It's not unlike the dance, though he mostly stays in the same spot. 15 millennia ago, we rejected them. We became the first abandoned sibling, and our empire entered a decline of the likes that we had never seen before, closing off relations with siblings, losing children, and losing resources. A drone floats around his body, and I can tell that he's playing up the performance to it, dramatically gesturing with overly exaggerated expressions. I realize that it's like I'm watching those dramas I've seen on Adastra television. We fell long and hard, as if our very mood was sucked into the pit. 5,000 years of misery and dissolution. 5,000 years until Jerusalem saved us all. Amicus goes on to describe the history that I had vague knowledge of, how Drusius reestablished contact with the parents, reunited the Wolven Empire, and renamed the world Adastra, a name that represented everything the Empire stood for. Since then, we've spread far and wide across the galaxy, found lost children, established roads to resources our moon desperately needed. But what we found to be most valuable, rekindling diplomatic relations with the other siblings. With them we shared knowledge and wealth, establishing ourselves as true siblings once again, until the war. While our reasons were sound for initiating the conflict, the sudden and unexpected attack frightened the other siblings, leaving them to abandon us once more. We defended our rights and our dignity from the Chemians. Oh, these words are killing me. I'm telling you, these words are going to kill me. Oh, I can't say these words, and I apologize. Just give you a heads up. I can't say these words. Made up words. Neferu mutters that under his breath, thankfully. But at a great cost, our empire has suffered for our victory. But there is a way to reverse this. I don't know if the wolf is doing a good job since I have no point of reference, but as far as I can tell, he seems to be doing great. No stuttering or stumbling, his acting pretty good, especially if I'm comparing him to the dramatic actors I've seen on the screens. His movements are powerful but elegant, just like his voice, and I find myself beaming with a sense of pride that I never had for someone else before. He goes on to describe the policies he'd already told me about, reestablish relations with the siblings, fully uplift the children, reshape their role in the Empire. And the first step, Amicus suddenly turns to face us, though his gaze is on Neferu. An alliance, one that has been proposed by the Chemians. This may seem like a worrying prospect to you. It has never been done in the history of the Galaxis, but I can promise that while Emperor, I will demand respect and equal treatment from the Chemians. Their arrogance will be tamed, and Wolfen dignity will be restored. The light of the camera drone in front of us is green, broadcasting our image to the entirety of Adastra. I'm at least glad that Neferu is able to control its eye rolling right now. Within the course of my rule, I will place Adastra on the same pedestal as all the other siblings, if not higher. No longer will we be the half-sibling of the Galaxis. No, we will once again stretch beyond our system, beyond our quadrant, and yes, eventually beyond the galaxy. Amicus points to the ceiling. As Drusius proclaimed 10 millennia ago, to the stars. So I say now to the stars and beyond. Amicus pauses dramatically in that pose, then bows before turning and walking back to the throne. Oh, alright, Amicus! Amicus, alright, oh, alright, I wasn't wow, okay, that was pretty good. I think Amicus might have this in the bag. But I can't get too high up. Wow, that was really good. Also, now there's no music, or is there supposed to be music? No, there's supposed to be no music. Okay, and I don't really think I have music to match this tone. So, thank you, Amicus, Cassius. I let out a breath, watching as Amicus makes his way up the steps, passing Cassius as his brother makes his way to the same spot on the floor. So that's it. Amicus' part is done. Now it's Cassius' turn, and I watch as he walks to the same spot, an angry scowl on his face. Oh boy. He's angrier than usual, almost furious, and I wonder if he's upset about how well Amicus had done. But then he starts speaking, and I realize it's part of his show. For 300 years, our empire has been in shambles. I jump, and I even feel Neferu tense up next to me, as the white wolf practically screams. Not because of the war, not because we chose a different path. No, this is because of Drusius and his flawed vision of the Galaxis as a whole. My brother was right about one thing. Adastra is the lowest of the low amongst the siblings, the laughingstock of the entire galaxy. No references to Amicus. Oh, wait. See, I'm getting so into it now. That's Cato. No references to Amicus, Cassius. Cato barks from across the throne room, but the other wolf ignores him, swiping his paw through the air, his movements aggressive and violent. Enough of being the butt of jokes, of being spat upon, of being considered at the level of mere children. It is time for Adastra to once again be respected, revered, and feared, just like before Drusius. Cassius' speech goes on like that, describing Adastra in terms that make it sound like the worst place in the galaxy to be. I don't know if this is good or not. He's definitely being way more intense than Amicus was, and if that's the goal, then I'm worried. I glance over at Neferu and Virginia, and the troubled looks on her faces tell me that I should be even more worried. I look up toward the throne, but Amicus is still in straight face as ever. I feel myself start to sweat, wondering if this is the beginning of the end. My brother stated that the war was responsible for a sudden decline, a decline not so sudden when it's been happening for thousands of years. No, that war was the best thing that could have ever happened to this empire. It showed that we were unafraid, unintimidated by the most powerful force in the galaxy. We were mocked and laughed at openly before the war. Now these laughs are quieter, behind dainty palms, as our siblings realize just how dangerous we can be. They take us seriously now. Cassius turns his angry gaze on us. But not seriously enough. Look who they sent to propose this alliance that my brother spoke of. No references to Amicus, Cassius. But Cato is quieter now, as if he knows he can't stop the young wolf. Our camera light turns green, and I once again get the feeling that the broadcast is displaying Neferu. The one and only flower of Chemia, the pharaoh's faggot son with his oils and perfumes stinking up the halls of our palace. Wow. Okay. Oof. I didn't know they knew that use that word. Wow. Alright, I really do not like Cassius now. Wow. Oh my gosh. Ooh. You know what? Oh, okay, he can't get the throat. Fuck you, Cassius. Fuck you, Cassius. Wow, I can't even believe he just used that word. I glance up at Neferu, but his expression has hardly changed, though I see a hint of a smirk on his lips. Meanwhile, Virginia's hiding a look of shock or horror, both behind her fan. This alliance is highly suspect, and I must wonder what is really going on during these negotiations. Actually, let me give you an idea. Cassius makes a sort of signal with his paw, then pauses. Everything is silent for a moment, and looking at the cameras, none of them are green. I look around at the others and can tell they're confused as well. What are you broadcasting, Cassius? Cassius doesn't even turn around to acknowledge Kato. Just showing a small video clip. Of what? I see Amicus bristling next to Kato and I feel the hair standing up on my own neck. Of a treacherous act between my brother and the flower jackal. What? Amicus so puffed out he looks almost twice his natural size. Oh my god, did he fucking film that? Oh my god, did he film that? What are you doing? Yes, Cassius, what are you doing? Oh wait, I keep mixing up the voices. Yes, Cassius, what are you doing? Kato, he bugged my room. Amicus starts to move, but Kato reaches out from his stone to hold him back. Stay there, brother, it's almost over. Don't worry, it's censored. Cassius sneers back at Amicus before the red light on his drone suddenly turns green again. Cassius stares at the lens for a moment, letting the silence drag out for dramatic effect. Also, I think I turned the music down too low, so I can barely hear. There we go. Shocking, is it not? I already described the flower of Kembia. Do we also want the flower of Adastra to be our emperor? Time, Cassius. Kato's voice is soft, sounding almost astonished. Amicus is clearly having a much harder time keeping his emotions in check now. Even from this distance, I can see him working his jaw. But Cassius doesn't seem to be finished. And let me leave you with this. Time, Cassius, yield the floor. No, I will not yield! Adastra's the one out of time! The Empire is stretched thin, and that tail raiser proposes that we stretch even further? When do we break? Cassius whirls around and points a finger at Amicus. He looks towards the children and the siblings while completely ignoring us! Cassius' bristled fur slowly starts to lay down again, the wolf making a show of trying to get himself under control again. So, let me leave you with this. While campaigning in the outskirts of Adastra City, areas my brother completely neglected, I came across a young child with the same disease that afflicts me. Cassius' voice becomes more quiet, gentle, lowering his muzzle a bit to stare at the floor. Unlike me, she had no medication to speak of because her poor farming family could not afford it. She was bound to a wheelchair, her bones so frail that something as simple as a bath causes them to dislocate and break. Cassius' voice catches, and to my surprise, I see a tear slide down his cheek. How dare this empire let our people fall into such a state that we cannot even care for our own people? I'm hearing that even now we cannot afford to vaccinate those beyond our glittering city. Cassius looks back up at the camera. It may seem as if we cannot hear you past the walls of this palace, but I hear you. I promise to always hear you. I will not cater to the needs and wants of the siblings or children, to the Adastra City elites or officials. Cassius sweeps a paw dramatically to his chest. Not to the stars, but to you, the people of the Empire. Thank you. Cassius bows low to the camera before turning to walk back to the throne. Oh boy, I think he might have just won this. I mean, he's an asshole, but I think he might have just won this. Oh, I hate this because he brings up some good points, but at the same time, he's an asshole. Ah, damn it! Why can't this game just be a straightforward game where there's good and bad? Because now I'm like, you have a point, but you're an asshole. Like, I don't know. There's a long moment of silence as we all just stare at the white wolf, then Cobb's voice crackles over our heads. Also, I'm really sorry if I broke anybody's headphones doing Cassius' voice, because I really wanted to portray some emotion to it. Hopefully you got the emotion down. Tremorverts, make your decisions. Suddenly, I feel something grasp me around the wrist and look down to see Neferu's furry black paw holding on to me. Mark, very quietly, we're going to get up and head to my room. We'll move around the back so that the cameras do not see. Why? Because what Amicus had feared is about to. The Tremorverts have made their decisions. I see Neferu's eyes widen in surprise. Already? He seems to say it to himself, but he stands and I have to stand with him as he starts to walk up the aisle, towards the back of the room, pulling me along with him. I look back at Amicus to see the wolf looking right back at me, finally. His eyes are full of worry and regret, and I can tell that everyone knows that Cassius has won. My stomach drops and I realize that what I've been terrified of happening all month is actually happening. We've lost. I can only stare at Neferu's muscular arm as it pulls me toward the doors, toward an unknown and unwanted future. Lupus, after all this time, after everything we've done, we've lost. Amicus. Neferu pauses. I look up at the ceiling to where I always imagined calm to be if he were real, then look back at the throne. Ad rote, Amicus. Amicus looks just as shocked as I am. Cassius, meanwhile, has his jaw set grimly. As always, I can't read Cato. Lux, Amicus. Gibby, Amicus. What the hell is going on? It had just seemed like everyone thought Cassius was going to win, and if it was all based on performance, then he should be winning. Tricella, Amicus. There's a pause. One that has me realizing that we just won? Did we really just win? Adastra. Kato was staring straight ahead with his visor, and now I can see his paws gripping into the armrest of his throne. The silence goes on so long that Khan asks again. Adastra? Kato lets the silence continue for several more seconds before finally opening his muzzle. Cassius. I don't know what to think, but Khan immediately responds. The trial has been decided. Amicus is the victor. The silence that follows this time is deafening. No one cheers. No one moves. Even Virginia's fan is frozen, as if we were all stuck in a picture. All the while, the cameras continue to hover over our heads, each one of them flashing green for a moment. Finally, Khan is again the one to break the silence. This concludes the second trial. Thank you. With that, the camera lights turn off completely and the drones hover up toward the compartment in the ceiling. Wait, so... Okay, something's going on. Oh boy, something's going on here. Okay, so something's definitely going on here. So... Wait a minute. So the council voted for Amicus, but the actual people voted for Cassius. Oh boy. Why am I getting flashbacks to the current American system? So pretty much, the people's vote doesn't seem like it matters. It seems like it's whatever the council votes for. It seems like the people's vote's just a polite way of making them feel like their votes matter, but they really don't, because the people voted for Cassius, but the council, or the Triumvirs, voted for Amicus, and Amicus won. Okay, this is getting, this is getting really interesting, because I'm kind of curious to see what happens now. The lights come back on. As they do, Neferu is once again pulling me towards the doors. I'm going to hold back and watch, but the jackal is insistent, and the next thing I know, the doors are quietly sliding open, and we're walking into the equally silent, though much less tense atmosphere of the marble halls. Yeah, pretty much political intrigue. Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening, because it's like, don't get me wrong, Cassius... It's like, Cassius is a huge asshole, but the points he brought up were valid points. It's just he's... One... Despite, I think he cares for the people, he doesn't know how to express it. It's confusing. I mean, Amicus cares for the people too. It's so confusing. I hate this. I hate political intrigue stuff. Oh, because I don't know how to feel about this. Where are we going? We just won. As I say that, I feel the excitement finally replaced the shock. We won. Neferu, we won. Clearly, but that does not mean you are safe yet. What? Neferu was quiet for a moment at this point, the jackal having let go of my hand, allowing me to just follow behind him. What even happened? Who do you think should have won, Mark? I frowned. Does that matter? The Triumvirs decided. Amicus won. True, but not just the Triumvirs. We're watching. We all know who should have won. I feel myself getting defensive. Cassius was being a total asshole. Besides, he cheated. He went over his allowed time and referenced Amicus in his points. Like I said, he was being an asshole. Neferu laughed mirthlessly. The rules do not matter. I'm sure you probably realize that by now. Cassius did exactly as he should have, but he lost because of you. What? The Triumvirs clearly made their decisions long before the trial. We were hoping that they would not go against the will of the people, but Cassius's performance forced them to. You're talking about the rumor about Cassius getting rid of them. That would be the one. I had thought that such a clearly lopsided win on Cassius' part would have deterred at least more of them. Their hunger for power is insatiable, it seems. Again, I feel myself getting defensive, but there's also a sense of worry creeping in. So, okay, so Neferu straight said, he was like, the speech didn't have nothing to do with it. When they heard that Cassius was talking about getting rid of the ruling council, they were like, yeah, we can't have this guy in. Oh, boy. Well, I don't know. I think Amicus did great. Besides, it's their role to keep the Empire's power in check anyway, isn't it? Yes, but that's not the point of the trials, and the people know that. Adastra will not be happy about this. Well, what does that mean, then? We come to a stop in front of Amicus's room, and finally the Jackal turns to face me. That I cannot tell you. I am not an expert on the politics of Adastra. I am simply a student here. Amicus may have won this battle, but I can guarantee that the power struggle is far from over. Amicus can explain more to you when he arrives. For now, wait for him in his room. The Jackal starts to turn to leave, but seems to notice a confused and probably worried look on my face. He pauses and sets a paw on my shoulder. Do not fret too much over this. It is par for the course in woven politics. That much I do know. Drama is our identity, and we can only be along for the ride. Neferu smiles at me. Amicus will keep you safe, and if there's a need, you have that he cannot fulfill. I am also here. Oh my gosh, he's winking at us. I know Neferu intends for that to sound salacious, but I also think he means it in a nice way. Neferu is Darius. I'm gonna freaking post on my Twitter, be like, you know, I didn't think anybody could be more Darius than Darius, but then I played Adastra. I put my hand on his paw. Thanks. The Jackal nods at me before turning away to walk up the hall, probably toward his own room. Once he's out of sight, I press my hand to the panel and walk into the Amicus's room, sitting on the sofa to wait. It's strange. Amicus won, but it doesn't exactly feel that way after what Neferu just told me. Amicus didn't genuinely win. We'd won because of a rumor, basically making the entire trial thing pointless. Still, I can't exactly feel bad about that. Cassius bugged this very room to show footage of Amicus fucking Neferu. I closed my eyes, rubbing them with a hand as I realized how much that might have damaged Amicus's reputation. Not only did the people realize this trial was decided from the beginning by corrupt triumvirs, but also that their soon-to-be emperor had sex with a Chemian male at that. But again, Cassius losing because of his intention to get rid of one of the few checks with his power seems like karma to me. Weren't they keeping the Emperor's power in check by making the decision that they did? Oh, this is getting too close to American politics. Yeah, this is getting... Yeah, well, it was kind of tense. It's still tense, because now I'm like, it's getting too close to American politics. Because yeah, but were they really doing that to make sure Cassius didn't have too much power, or were they doing that to make sure they didn't lose their own power? Or their own influence? Technically, Amicus will become emperor now, though I guess it won't be official until Cassius officially concedes the third trial. I turned those thoughts over and over in my head for the next 20 minutes, a bit annoyed by the fact that even though I got exactly what I wanted, several issues had come with it. Suddenly the door slides open and I forget my worry for just a moment as I see Amicus standing there. He only gets a few steps into the room before I'm already there, wrapping my arms around his body as I hug him. Whoa, hey Mark, everything alright? The wolf sets a heavy paw on my head, rubbing the pads gently against my scalp. Are you... Of course! Amicus smiles down at me warmly, but having known him this long, I know that's not exactly true. Well, we won. We did. He's quiet for a bit, continuing to rub my head. This isn't really how I imagined it would go. Amicus laughs softly. Neither did I, but we did win, and that's the important part. Amicus hugs me tightly again. Is what Cassius did what he showed? How bad was that? Amicus grimaces. Bad, but I'll find a way to get through that. Seems my first job as emperor will be rebuilding my image. When do you become emperor? As soon as Cassius gives up. I don't think he's in the mood to do that quite yet, though. We stand there for a while. Amicus continued to stroke my head as I leaned it against his chest, listening to the soft beat of his heart. I'm just glad it's over. I feel the same. So, what next? Well, for now, I must go to the city. The Tremorverts requested the Imperial family be seen at once. Oh, why? Well, everyone assumes the trial's to be over. They'd like to discuss things with the family before they leave Adastra for their own cities. I see. They also requested that you go. Oh, I leaned back to look up at the wolf. Really? Yes, though I told him not to expect it. I know you wanted to see the city, but it's up to you. Well, it won't be the actual city, just the district where the delegates live. Things are a bit chaotic in the city center at the moment. Chaotic? The citizens are excited after the trial. Oh, they're rioting. They're rioting. That's what he wants to tell us. Ah, I imagine excited means angry. I could, but doing official stuff seems kind of scary. You wouldn't have to do anything. Just look happy to be there, but it's up to you. Would it help you? Possibly. I would certainly be happy to have you there. Then sure. The wolf's eyebrows go up in surprise. Oh my gosh. Really? Well, all right then. Let's go. Now? Yes, I believe the others are already in the chariot. Are you ready? I think so, unless I need to break anything. Not at all, and sorry, I know things are moving fast at the moment. It's to be expected after the trial, but we can talk in private when we get back, alright? Okay. Amicus is already turning to pull me along, but I stop him. When he turns, I do what I wanted to do since right before the trial started, and I kiss him on the lips. Ah! Ah! I was waiting for it! Oh! Oh! The chariot is really just, oh my gosh, they finally kissed. They had an actual kiss. Like, they had a kiss before, but this was, oh. The chariot is really just a large metallic carriage. It has benches inside with an open top. There are no horses, of course, and it seems to move on its own. It is the first time that I've ever seen wheels being used for transportation here, though. As we're walking up to it, I notice Virginia and Neferu already sitting in the front, and Cassius is in the back with Alex. Welcome back, Hal. He's very deliberately looking away from us. I whisper to Amicus as we get closer to the chariot. Cassius is going? Yes, I think Cato made him go. Despite everything the White Wolf has done, especially in the trial, I can't help but feel a little sorry for him. I can't imagine having to go out in public right after your years-long campaign was defeated. Amicus hops in first, sitting next to Virginia, before reaching down to me to pull me up next to him. I know, but no CGI! Boo! No CGI! Oh, I hit the wrong button. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I thought we'd be flying there. We usually do, but since the ship we used to take to the city crashed a few months ago, we decided the chariot is safer and more inconspicuous. Yes, something that will come in handy considering the state of the city right now. Hold on, sorry. Oh. Yes. What's this? Oh, no, that's why. Okay. Oh, no. Go, stop. What's the state of the city? Virginia fixes her eyes on me, really looking at me for the first time in a while. Riots, looting, the usual, though a bit unusual for Adastra city compared to, say, Lux. Amicus glances at me, but that's when there's a sudden jerk as the chariot moves forward toward the tree line. Virginia looks at Amicus. I must say, your pet is much more fascinating than I originally thought. He could barely speak when I first met him. Yes, he was shy. I guess I should have told Amicus that my act had been exposed at this point. Well, we must reconnect with the Symbia then. They seem oddly intelligent. Yes, oh, thank the gods for the trees. Vita is much too harsh today. Amicus clearly tried to change the subject as the road turns into the thick forest. Ooh, we're blanketed in an eerie green glow as the forest envelops us. Strange glowing insects fly around our carriage, and I notice how ancient the trees look, gnarled and rough, almost completely blocking out the sky. Hopefully they allow us to freshen up a bit before the ceremony. I'll be a mess by the time we reach the city. Virginia whips out her large, embroidered van again, waving it frantically in her face. I kind of wish I had one too. My skin almost immediately sticky in the humid air. You will look fine. Besides, we will all be in the same state. Amicus glanced over at the jackal. I have to wonder what brought you along, Neferu. My presence was requested. By whom? Oh, for the sake of Vita, don't start, Amicus. What? I'm simply curious. No, you're trying to start a fight, which is the last thing we needed for the Tramaverts. Besides, is it your policy to befriend Chemians? An alliance isn't a friendship. Chemians see it as friendship. Besides, everyone probably thinks you're already very close after what was broadcast. Virginia! She hides her smirk behind the fan as Neferu grins beside her. I'm simply reminding you that though it might still be fresh in everyone's mind when we get there. Amicus slumps in his seat, legs stretched out in front of him. All the more reason to seem distant. That will probably affect my reputation for years. Oh, don't be so dramatic. The people love such scandals. They simply pretend to be outraged. Amicus snorts but doesn't say anything more, signaling that the conversation is over. I wonder if Cassius sitting right behind us is listening in. Probably. I find the whole thing strange. The wolf that tried to sabotage Amicus by leaking what was basically a porno sitting right behind us. I turned my head ever so slightly, trying to look back at Cassius to see if he's looking at us. I don't see anything, so I turn around more fully and find that the white wolf is lying down, eyes closed with his head in Alice's lap. Oh. Alex looks up at me and smiles with a wave. I wave back awkwardly before quickly turning. There's something with Alex, because I'm like, Alex is too friendly to us. For what just happened, like, there's something going on. That's why I'm like, I liked Alex at first, but now I'm like, I think he's a spy or something. There's something going on with him. Virginia and Neferu seem to be caught up in their own conversation at the moment, while Amicus continues to sulk, staring at his feet. So, what exactly is going to happen when we get there? Oh, well, the meeting with the Trumperverts is, as I said earlier. After that, we'll likely get to walk the streets of the district to visit the shops and a restaurant. So I'll just stand next to you? Yes. Alright. For the rest of the ride, I lean against Amicus' side, and after several minutes, I start to nod off. Amicus notices and wraps an arm around me, and I'm able to comfortably lean against his chest to fall asleep. The next thing I know, I'm being nudged awake by Amicus. I find myself staring at several buildings, the sudden change in scenery leaving me dazed. I'm still trying to get my bearings as Amicus hops out of the carriage, reaching up to lift me down. When I look back up, I'm able to see a large group of wolves off to the side, watching us intently. Immediately, I feel self-conscious, the crowd being the largest gathering of wolves that I've seen in person. They come in all shapes and sizes, and I'm surprised to see a few of them that are almost as short as I am. The one characteristic that all of them share, though, is their thick-bodied stature. Amicus guides me around to stand in front of the chariot with Neferu, Virginia, Cassius, and Alex, holding me close to his side. One of the old wolves steps forward from the group. Welcome, Imperial family. Thank you so much for coming on this day of the second trial. It was a marvelous show. That seems like a bold thing to say after a clip of Neferu and Amicus having sex was shown. There doesn't seem to be any awkwardness, though, the old wolf's looking eager to talk to Amicus. I am Cesario, first Trumpervert of Ad Rote. The old wolf walks forward towards Amicus, setting his paws on the bigger wolf's shoulders and touching the sides of their muzzles together. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice Cassius shooting us a sour, angry look. The wolf and Amicus hold a short conversation, the older wolf asking Amicus what he thought of Ad Rote, what problems the city was currently having, and how they might proceed in the future. Yeah, I'm starting to realize that with this game, like, a lot of the characters, like, they hide what they really want. After that, he then moves on to Virginia, where the conversation is much shorter. Another wolf from the group moves forward to talk to Amicus, the conversation following a roughly similar pattern. There's no talk about Amicus being emperor, but the assumption is there, and when each of them gets to Cassius, it's almost as if equally brief as it was with Virginia. Despite the novelty of the situation, I quickly become bored, and the conversations blend together very quickly, as over a dozen of these old wolves come forward to introduce themselves to Amicus. For his part, Amicus does a really good job of seeming enthusiastic for each introduction, mentioning that he already knows who they are and that he thinks very, very highly of their city and region. Can I just say, too, with this visual novel, it does really well. It had a very slow start, but, like, it had a very slow start, but it picked up very quickly, like, just in general, like, playing through this entire series, and that's something I really need to look more into when I'm writing my own story, because this visual novel does a very, very good job of integrating story with world building. And that's something that's a very, very hard thing to do, to have the story continue to move forward while also introducing more aspects of said world. So I give this, anybody, on the very small chance that anybody from the Echo Project is watching this, good job to you guys and girls. after, I don't know who's in the team, but good job to you, because it's very well done. Occasionally, they'll glance at me and comment on how strange I look, though it's usually with a positive tone, congratulating Amicus on snagging me. That does seem to make Amicus uncomfortable, but I keep a straight face and bow each time, seeming to delight the old wolves with my etiquette. Eventually, these introductions end, but as we start to move toward the shops, the Trimaverts continue to follow us, and I find myself having a harder time keeping up with Amicus. He's practically surrounded by the Trimaverts. I give up on trying to stay next to him, and even though he keeps glancing at me and calls to me a few times, I just wave him on, choosing instead to walk alongside Neferu and Virginia. Sure, it's annoying, but he's about to become emperor, so it makes sense that he's so popular. As we walk through the streets, wolves call out to Amicus from doorways and windows, and he tries to wave at all of them. Further up the road, a group of children, puppies, show up with flowers in their paws, handing them out to Amicus and the Trimaverts. As I watch this happening, I notice a particularly patchy-looking child, no taller than my waist, standing off to the side awkwardly, looking right at me as she holds a flower in her paws. I pause, unsure if she means to give it to me. When I do, she moves closer. So I bend over, reaching out, and her eyes widen, probably simultaneously horrified and fascinated at getting the crazy alien's attention. Nevertheless, she comes closer, shyly pushes the crumbled, wilted flower in my hands before suddenly leaning in and touching the side of her face to mine. For a moment, I see her watery, bloodshot eyes. Then I feel the slightly damp fur brush my skin before she makes an odd yelping sound and runs off down the street. I stare after her, wondering if I'd done something wrong. Found yourself a gift. I look down at the white flower, noticing that several petals are missing. I guess. That one didn't look healthy, did she? Not really. Maybe Cassius had a point with his speech. I think they both made good points, honestly. With that being said, Wolfrith, I think Adastra is better with... I think Adastra is better if you're looking for something that's a bit more... If you're looking for something a bit more sci-fi... If you're looking for something that's a bit more sci-fi and has a bit more... I'm trying to find the right word for this story. Then I think Adastra is better. But if you're looking for something that's more relatable, more down to earth, slice of life kind of, then extracurricular activities. With that being said, I do give extracurricular activities is slightly above for me only because there's more romantic options. But Adastra is really close. Like Adastra right now, from what I've played, Adastra is really, really close to being number one. But extracurricular activities, mainly for the fact that there's more options, romantic options, and the fact that and yeah. So anyway, if you're looking for, I feel like if you were looking for something more like adventurous and sci-fi-ish, Adastra's better. The story's good, period, but like it's more sci-fi like. But if you're looking for something that's more slice of life and like like the more slice of life and the issues are more like life stuff, then you would go with extracurricular activities. That's just for what I've played so far. Like Neko Jissi, as much as I love that, that's kind of like that would probably definitely be 3 only because one, the story is so so supernatural that it's a little bit different. But I think they're both great. I'm really curious to play Echo now, because I keep hearing people say, oh, Echo, and I'm like, I just started with this game, and there's like, oh, where's Echo's, but Echo's like horror. I think our Echo's like pretty much a horror story, so I don't know. I love horror. I used to love horror all the time. I still do to a degree. It's just something that, I don't know. We'll see. I really would like to talk to I really would like to talk to the developers and the writers or something about that. Just, ask them questions. Also, I'm going to say this now. What are my future goals for this channel, which I would love to do so much, or even for another channel? I would love to guest star in another channel. Like, I would love for somebody to come up to me, like a visual novel, YouTuber, come up to me like, yeah, would you like to like guest star in my? Would you like to guest star on my stream? I would do that in a heartbeat. Like, just throwing it out there. Anybody knows anybody that might be interested to be guest star in one episode doing voices? I would love to do that. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would love to do that. Yeah, I do agree. I will give it credit for that. Adastra is really good at it because the story is only focused on one character, and like I said before, the least amount of love interest I've seen in the game before this visual novel has been three. And then I was like, oh, one, that's going to be boring. I was like, oh, there's only one love interest. That's really boring. And now I'm like, no, it's really well done. You can tell they really took the time to say, we're going to focus on this relationship. So, you know. Neferu gestures at the gaggle of wolves motioning forward and moving further and further away from us. Better catch up before they leave us behind. Yeah. I looked out at the flower one last time before dropping it to the road, feeling a little guilty as I do. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I know Echo is made by the same people. That's the first one they made, and then there's Adastra, which is a spin-off thingy, and then recently I heard about Smoke Room, but Smoke Room is a prequel to Echo. I give them credit. Whoever the team is, I really would like to know who they are because I struggle just to write one visual novel script, and I can't imagine writing three at the same time. Granted, for the most part, they're all somewhat separate, but that's hard. I couldn't imagine trying to write three. I mean, it can't be the same writer. I wonder is it the same writer? Because there's no way it can be. Even though the ceremony is technically over, the Triumvirs don't seem to want to leave Amicus alone. Aw. Listen, I had a dream about, and I've had dreams like that in a long time. I think when I first played extracurricular activities, I had a dream that I was with Spencer cuddling in bed. Oh my god, they were such great dreams. I had a dream like last week late last week, a few days ago, or something like that, where I was with Amicus and I loved it so much. And it was like Amicus and me. Amicus ended up coming to Earth with me and was so fascinated by stuff. I hate that because it just just you like I said, people have no idea how badly I want a boyfriend. Like, oh my gosh, I just want to go do stuff with a boyfriend. I'm not that hard. I'm not that hard to please. Like, listen, we could go to a McDonald's and just sit there and hold hands, and I will be fine. Granted, once in a while, go somewhere nice, like a nice diner or a nice restaurant, or go out to the mall or something. But just being able to have physical intimacy is great. And I don't even mean sex. I don't mean sex. Like at the end of the day, like as much as I play these games and they have a lot of sexual themes to them, physical intimacy, I just mean a lot of kissing and a lot of holding hands. I think that's the best thing. I think that's better than sex almost. Almost. I'm kind of amazed at how well Amicus is dealing with them, considering how irritated I'm feeling. Amicus tries to bring me over to his side a few times, pointing out trinkets and souvenirs that he tries to explain, as if wanting to show me a bit of Adastrian culture. It's nice that I can tell him what's to involve me, but it's far too busy with Triumvirs and locals breaking in every 5 seconds to ask or tell Amicus something. I wish you could just tell them to go away, but I know it doesn't work like that. Because honestly, I've never had a legitimate. I've never had a legitimate boyfriend. Let me rephrase that. I had one. It was like about 2 years ago. We dated for a while. It was one line though, and again, there's nothing wrong with one line dating, but like it never got to the point where we actually saw each other, which was really sad. And I wouldn't date somebody that it gets to the point where I actually see them. Like, oh my gosh, I want it so bad. You have no idea like how bad I would hold hands and do the cuddling and stuff. I think that's great. And it's simple stuff. We could go to the movies, and I would be happy. We go to movies and hold hands. It's something nice. Something nice about showing off your boyfriend. I just think that's so sweet. I'm not sure anybody here in a relationship, because I'm sure some of you understand what I mean. Stop! You can't do that to me, Wolfrith. You can't do that to me because Amicus really is like I love Amicus. Like you have no idea. Like oh my gosh, if he was real in a heartbeat, I'm like you have to come to Earth with me. We're gonna go to McDonald's, and he would just be like looking at this like greasy, sloppy food. Like what is this? I'm like Amicus, just try it. It's good, I promise. I'm like it looks gross, but it tastes great. And Amicus would just and Amicus would be that person just eat like four Big Macs, and I'm like Amicus, you can't eat that much. Stop, please. And it's like, but it's so good. Like it's delicious. I've never had food like this before. You have to show me where to get more at. And I'm telling you, I'm having a whole fan fiction moment right now. All right, back to the story. I gotta get through this. On top of this, my joints are really starting to ache from all the walking, and I wonder if living in the palace for so long has made me soft. So, eventually, I just trail the group of wolves, browsing the goods after they do. It's interesting, sure, but everything's so similar to what we have on Earth. Necklaces, earrings, brushes, clothes, nothing all that mind-blowing. Eventually, Amicus very loudly calls out that he'd like to go to a restaurant with his pet, if everyone could please allow him through. I think this is my cue to move to the side. He immediately puts an arm around mine, holding me close. As we walk up the street, the mini wolf still following behind us, Amicus puts his muzzle close to my ear, sending a bit of a chill over my neck. One that's oddly painful. Everything okay, Mark? You seem a bit uncomfortable. I shrug. Everything around here is new to me, so I guess I do feel a little bit off. Well, let's settle down to the restaurant. We can cool off and catch our breath there. The wolf gives me a quick squeeze with his arm, and despite my slightly sour mood, I can't help but smile a little. I mean, it is kind of cool that my friend is so popular, even if it's because he's going to be the next emperor. We walk into a small but rather cozy restaurant. God damn it! No, I'm sorry, I can't focus now, because now you got me thinking about stuff that I don't need to be thinking about. It's fantasy. I gotta get through it. It's not gonna happen, but I hate thinking about that now. I'm just gonna be thinking about Amicus. I haven't felt like this since the first time I played Neko Jissi, and I was literally obsessed with all three of the characters. I was obsessed. I was dreaming nonstop about them. I just couldn't get them out of my thoughts. Then I played extracurricular activities, and I couldn't get Spencer out of my mind. Why do people gotta make such good, well-written characters? Lagoon Lounge I've never had any thoughts about, just because the game was so out there. Like, listen, I love the visual novel. I love the first one I played so far, but I couldn't take that seriously, so there was no serious thoughts on that. But extracurricular activities in this game, man, I tell you, now I'm just gonna be thinking about this. Thank you guys. You know. Oh, that's what I need to get done. I want to get a picture. Now I want to get a drawing. I want to get a drawing done of my first soda with Amicus kissing. Yes, I'm gonna be that person. Oh, I can't get him out of my thoughts now. I hate you guys. If I had a boyfriend like Amicus, I would die. I'd literally probably die. My spirit, I would pass out, and my spirit would just go up into space into Adastra, and then I'd live there because I'd be just so surprised. I mean, in all seriously speaking, scientists keep talking about intermingling animal DNA with human DNA. I don't know how well that would turn out in real life, but there's always that. If that works out, I mean, I would do it. I told you I'm like in a heartbeat. I'd do that. I've always felt more inclined with wolves, and I would be perfectly fine with that. So maybe I'll live to see something like that happen. Who knows? But you know what? I've always liked, but in all seriousness. Oh, no. Stop, Wolfrith! I can't! Oh, I remember Wolfrith was like, oh, what if Amicus got a Happy Meal instead? Dude, but Amicus would be so cute, because I can see him get like a little toy, and he's wondering like, what is it? And you're just like trying to explain to him what the little toy is. And he'd be like all happy. He'd be like, he'd try to act all dignified, but he'd like play with the toy like for like the next hour. It's okay, Marcelo. It's okay. It started a while ago. It's almost 2 hours now. You're okay. You're all right. Thank you for stopping by, at least. We walk into a small but cozy restaurant. I can tell right away that it's rather upscale with its carved pillars and the fancy tapestries on the wall. Then again, everything in this district is kind of upscale, I guess. The triumvirs follow us right into the restaurant, though, and I let out a frustrated sigh. Amicus notices right away and signals at a wolf standing behind a podium. This particular wolf is staring at us wide-eyed, apparently gobsmacked at seeing the soon-to-be emperor showing up in his restaurant. He practically trips over himself to get to us, banging his hip on the side of a table as he does. Yes, your Majesty! Amicus grimaces. Just Amicus, please. Could you get us a secluded table, preferably with no one seated next to us? Of course! The wolf stumbles over himself again before leading us to a corner of the restaurant, gesturing at a table there. He then turns to a couple next to the table and begins to frantically hiss at them to move. They stare at him in astonishment until Amicus steps in to stop him. They're fine, just don't let any of that group over there sit next to us, if that's alright. Amicus jerks his head over at the gaggle of old wolves, all of them staring at us rather hawkishly. Oh yes, of course! He hurries off towards said group and we're finally able to sit down or lay down. The seats are, of course, in the Roman style. Amicus settles down with a huge sigh, stretching his big body over the bed. And this is the screen cap I used. Just to let everybody know, just so nobody worried that I played this before, the screen caps I use, I promise you when I get them, I don't read through the story. Like, all I do is skim through the next few pages or scenes just to see if there's anything I can use as a screen cap, and then I use it as a screen cap. So, like, when I found this as a screen cap, I just skipped through stuff. And then I was like, oh, here's a CGI scene. Okay, bam, use it. So, don't worry about me knowing. I didn't know anything until I got to this part. So now you know. Oh, hold on. It's saying something's going on. Let me make sure it's off. Okay. Everything's working. Sorry about that. I should have warned you about how frustrating it can be with all the pointless chatter. I shrug. Seems about right for politics. Oh, it is, but don't worry. It's rare that all the Tremoverts are in the city all at once. This is for the trials, of course. Yeah, it makes sense. You sure you're okay? You sure you're okay? I could never seem to tell. I'm fine. From my arms, the skin sensitive and sore just like my joints. I wonder if I'm getting sunburned too. Alright, so what do you think of the city? This part of it at least. I wish I could take you to where the skyscrapers are, but as I said, things are a bit chaotic at the moment. It's pretty cool. It wouldn't exactly be out of place on Earth. Definitely different, but really similar. Ah, well, you were uplifted by us after all. Yeah, so is this what you're gonna do as Emperor? Come to the city and just talk? Amicus chuckles. Oh, there will be much more to it, I'm sure. I'm hoping Cato will teach me a bit if he's able to get over the trial. I remember that Cato did vote for Cassius. He's probably furious about it right now. Won't you have, like, advisors and stuff? Well, yes, but I must choose them. Would you choose Cato? I could. Will you? Well, maybe, but recent events have left me a bit unsure of that. Why's that? Amicus shakes his head. Don't worry about it now. We should be celebrating. I mean, you could become emperor at any moment. Shouldn't you have someone who's got a good head on their shoulders at the ready? I suppose. Who would you suggest? I get the feeling that he's goading me to offer myself, but that definitely wouldn't be the case. The few wolves I know make this decision pretty easy. Virginia. Amicus raises his eyebrows in slight surprise. Oh, well, yes, I would definitely consider her. The only problem is the image of a female telling me what to do. The Tailraiser reputation is bad enough. I roll my eyes. Maybe wolf and masculinity is something you can fix while you're emperor. Amicus doesn't seem to know how to answer that, but he doesn't have to as our food arrives. I'm a bit surprised it's been in order, but looking around it seems that everyone gets the same thing. There's the usual olives, grapes, cheese, and bread, but also seafood and even eggs, which surprises me. Amicus thanks the nervous waiter before immediately starting to dig in. I do the same, but while I'm spreading cheese onto the bread, my mind wanders back to what might be happening in the city right now. So, how bad are things in the city? No one seems that concerned about it. From what I've been told, it's fairly mild. Riots are common in Adastra, but they don't last long. I think the people will calm down within the next few days. Oh, okay, so they don't, dislike you or anything. It takes Amicus a moment to swallow down his mouthful of bread before speaking. No, most of the anger is directed at the Tremoverts. I will say, though, I have my work cut out of rebuilding my reputation. Because of the sex video? Yes. Amicus tried to smile it off lightheartedly, but I can see his ears turning red. It must be weird being out in public like this, knowing that everyone saw it. I was told by one of the Tremoverts from Lux to simply say it was fake. Not sure if that will work. Could be a good idea. Really, the biggest issue is that it delegitimizes the alliance process with the Chemians. The people believe that I've beholden to Neferu somehow. Amicus' expression finally falls a bit, staring down at the food as his munching slows down. I'm sure they'll get over it. From what I've been told, it seems like they're quick to forget. Well, yes, as soon as the next scandal comes along, hopefully one not involving me. Yeah, we did silence a while, and I can tell something heavy is on Amicus's mind. Was that Was that Amicus? I mean, Amicus. Was it Cassius beside him? I don't think that was Cassius because he's got a beard. In the meantime, I'm a bit distracted with itching specific spots on my arms, feeling tiny little bumps on the skin. I wonder if I'm allergic to something in the meal, so I stop eating for the moment, choosing instead to lounge out on the bed. Mark, I've been meaning to ask you something. Yeah? Do you do you want to stay here even after I become emperor? Oh boy, the question catches me by surprise, and I'm left to try and gather my thoughts for a moment as Amicus continues to look down. Um, what do you mean? Amicus sighs and glances at me. I mean, do you want to stay here with me, even if you have the ability to go home? Amicus quickly looks down again. Oh, I'm sorry, I know it's not my place to ask, but I thought I might as well ask. I stare at him for a moment, then I look down too. You know I need to go back. At the very least, I need to let my friends and family know that I'm okay. I know they're looking for me in Italy right now. Probably all of Europe at this point. I need to let them know. Amicus coughs hastily. Of course, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to come back. I do. I just know that there are problems. I lower my voice. I remember that we're in a public place, that mentioning illegal first contact would not be a good idea. If we could fix the problems, honestly, I'd love to come back and stay for a long time. Oh, kind of surprised myself with that statement, but it's true. I mean, I would stay personally, but this is coming from. Try to explain this very quickly without sounding like a depressed little sapling. Me personally, for the most part, when it comes to this, it's hard to explain because I love doing the streams for you guys. I love being here. I It really warms my heart being here for the streams. But me personally, I've always had that thought that if I had the choice to go to a new world, would I take it? And I'd have to say yes. Me personally, as much as I love doing this channel, and as much as I love interacting with you guys, there's always going to be a part of me that kind of would like to get a fresh start in life. Even now, there's a part of me that wants a second chance at life. Whether mistakes I made in my past or issues that I wish I would have, issues that I wish I would have fixed. Meanwhile on Earth, where the hell is he? So for me personally, I would go to another world. And like I said, not to really get sappy and depressing, but there's a lot of reasons why I would. But let's just say that the I think I had a friend that said it best with them personally. Sometimes you live in a world where you wonder, were you maybe born in the wrong world? And honestly, for me wise, I feel like that's a big part for me. I feel like the world I live in is I just don't feel like it was meant for me. Now, before anybody gets worried, no, I'm not, to get in deep topics. No, I'm not talking, I won't, I would never commit suicide or anything like that. It's not something like, asking for help like that. It's just a natural statement. Like I've there's been a lot of times as I've been growing up lately in the past few years that I've thought maybe you just wasn't. I'm not in the right world that I was meant to be in. But yeah, I think it's more at the end of the day. I think it's more of a thing of just starting fresh. I think I would like to. I really always wanted to start fresh. There's a lot of things in my past that I didn't really do because I was worried how I would be seen. Um, and I wish I kind of would have not worried about what other people would think and just done it. But because I've spent so long having this fake side of me, this is the real side of it. Just to let you know, everything I do on the stream, this is me. This is really how I am. So no need to worry about me being fake on the streams. That's really me. Hello, welcome. Fallenwolf is real, at least during the streams. Real life, it's a different matter. But obviously my name is not Fallenwolf in real life. It's Mark. My first name's Mark, and I live in a little tiny state called New Jersey in the United States. But like, there's a lot of times I've kind of wished that I could. There's been a lot of times, especially as of late, that I really kind of wish I would get a fresh start, and not even like fresh start. Like I don't mean I want to go back in time to when I was first being born, but I would say currently I'm 25. I'm 25 years old. If I could go back in time to when I would say 10 years even. When I was 15, I would be happy. If I could go back to when I was 15, when I was still like a sophomore in high school, made a few decisions, I would be fine with that. So, for me personally, I kind of would like a fresh start. But also at the same time, I really love you guys, and I really would hate to leave you guys. It's conflicted. I really love you guys. I love Wolfris. I think you're really great, and honestly, you've been a huge inspiration for me. You've been a really huge inspiration for me to keep going with the channel because I won't lie. There's been time, before it, not now, but beforehand when I was first doing this, there were times I thought about like, oh, nobody's gonna like this, nobody's gonna watch my channel, blah blah blah. But like people like you and people like Mars. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna mess up your name. People like Marcelo, the regulars. They keep me going and they make me want to keep going with this. They inspire me. Even reading these stories, sometimes I have a jealousy issue. Sometimes I do get a little jealous when I read visual novels because I'm like, oh man, this person's writing is so good and I can't write like that. Sometimes I get like that, but at the same time, it inspires me because if nothing else, I want to make my own visual novel story, and I want to make my own characters, and I want to see my own characters come to life. Because for me personally, it's gotten to the point with my characters that they're a part of me. They're real to me. So that was a little off topic, real life discussion, but I really do love you guys. I really love you so much. I would love to kiss all of you, kiss each and every one of you, because it's because of you that I want to keep going with this. It's because of you that I push myself out even more. And every week I'm like, I'm gonna at least post one stream of Adastra and one stream of extracurricular activities. Well, that plus the fact that it's really good writing and really good characters. So thank you. I really love you guys. You're very inspirational to me. But yeah, that was my little quick conversation that I would really wouldn't mind going to another world. Uh, you know, but at the same time, I'd really miss you guys. I think so. Amicus glances up at me in surprise. Really? Yeah, if it wasn't a risk to your empire. Of course, I mean to speak to the parents as soon as I'm able. I'm certain we can figure something out. The look on Amicus's face right now is so sad, but a little hopeful. Reminds me of something that I've been wanting to do for the past week. And Amicus? Yeah? I glance around quickly, making sure that the nearby patrons aren't listening. Do you want to date me? Oh my god. The statement's so ridiculous, so silly. The situation comes out all quiet and weak, but I don't know how else to ask it. That word is so complicated. Okay. Don't know what happened there, but we're back. Connection was messing up. OBS always does this to me. I always get issues with OBS if I stream for too long. It is working now, right? Everybody can hear me? I'm gonna take that as a yes. Uh, what are you doing? Okay, you can hear me. Okay, let me keep going. I hear a long exhalation and realize that the wolf has been holding his breath. I look up then and see Amicus smiling. Oh, there's a mixture of happiness and relief on his face, maybe even a little amusement. I'm gonna save that picture. I guess we've been dancing around it for so long, and we both knew by now that it's what we wanted, what we've been building up to. Of course, Mark, I'm honored that you'd have me. I even see his eyes glistening a bit, and I want to get up right there and then and join him on his bed, but public setting holds me back. I imagine Amicus feel the same way, and I wonder if maybe asking her in public wasn't the best place for it. But it was done, and I feel myself grinning despite myself. The wolf grins right back. Like you said, while I'm here, we might as well get to know each other better. And if you do figure something out, I can come back. Amicus nods and turns his head in a way that he's able to wipe an eye on his shoulder, probably hoping I wouldn't notice. He looks so relieved. I realize even after we made up in the meditation room, he was probably still feeling unsure where we stood romantically. But there are boundaries, and if I'm dating you, you have to tell me everything, and no sleeping around behind my back. Of course, I promise to tell you everything, especially everything that concerns you, and I don't ever intend on breaking that promise to you. And sleeping around? Amicus' ears flick and he glances over at our neighbors who are definitely trying to eavesdrop. He lowers his voice a good deal. Definitely not. Not that I have anyone to be with, but we can discuss all of this when we get back to our room, and Amicus lowers his voice even more. Maybe do a little more as well. Oh my gosh. Oh, are we gonna have a sex scene? Oh, we're gonna have a sex scene. His ears flatten as I roll my eyes, but they come back up into a smile. See, and I give this game credit because, like I said, I played a few visual novels where you just go right into it. It's an hour in. I've been playing for, how long have we been playing this visual novel for? A long time. No eating. No eating 12 Big Macs. Oh my god, you're gonna give me, I'm gonna be stuck thinking about McDonald's and Amicus now. I'm just gonna go to McDonald's and just be like, oh, I'm gonna be thinking about, why I've never, where did you get McDonald's and Amicus at? Because I'm so confused. Sure. Immediately his tail starts thumping the bed, and the eager look in his face has me shaking my head. I can't deny that I'm excited too. Actually, I'm feeling kind of nervous now. I just promised him that. How would we even start? We sit together for a while longer. The conversation moved to more casual topics like how the districts of the city are divided up. Though as an hour passes, I start to feel hot and a little dizzy, and when I mention this to Amicus, he suggests we head back to the palace. Vita is completely set by the time we're heading out toward the carriage. Of course, several delegates surround us as we start to head off, but Amicus promises it will only be 10 minutes, and I head out into the street alone to stand next to the chariot. It's a bit nicer out here in the open air compared to the stuffy restaurant. I can tell now that I'm definitely getting sick, and all of that soreness and exhaustion was just the beginning of a creeping fever that I can feel breaking out across my skin. I wonder, did we get sick? Were we poisoned? I wonder if we were poisoned. I end up sitting on the carriage step, head bowed as I feel myself starting to sweat. It's not anything I haven't felt before, but there's an odd prickling sensation underneath it all, like pins and needles just under my skin, leaving me wanting to itch at various places on my body. I just wish Amicus would hurry up, the others too, since I'm the only one standing here. I can't even remember where Neferu and Virginia went. Someplace shopping, I think. Simeon. Oh boy. Cassius' voice is low and quiet to my left, and I glance over to see him leaning up casually against the chariot. I make a half-hearted attempt at bowing at him, sort of just flopping my head in his direction. The wolf glares before walking towards me. What game are you playing at? Oh, sorry. Now's probably the worst time for this to happen. Game? I mumble out stupidly, looking toward the restaurant to see if I can see Amicus through the crowd gathered in front. Do not act stupid. I know you're capable of understanding. I just shake my head, but immediately regret it as I feel all the food that I just eaten up whirl around in my stomach. Oh no, we're gonna throw up. I'm really sick, way more than I realized, and I can't believe how hard and fast it's hitting me. Do you remember several weeks back in which you served me during midday meal? Virginia and Neferu were there. I just stick to silence now, worried that moving at all is gonna make me hurl. Of course you remember. You told the Tremorverts about what I intended to do with them, didn't you? Cassius moves closer, but the feelings coursing through my body leaves me not caring at all that much about him right now. I need to get to Amicus. I need to tell him that something's wrong. I hook myself, feeling that prickling sensation erupt to the surface, my skin on my arms and chest and legs burning and itching in the most horrible way. I gasp. What is that? Some sort of simian language? Listen to me. I want to know what you told them and how you knew to tell them. How? Come on now. Chill with relax. He does not have that. No, I'm pretty sure he doesn't. First of all, he said he has severe itching. I don't think, I can't say the word because apparently YouTube's really cracking down on that kind of thing, so I can't actually say the word, but what you just said, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have that. I feel bumps in my arms, bumps that weren't there just minutes ago. I look down, and even though it's hard to see in the darkness, I'm at least able to see that the skin is splotchy and discolored. Shakily, I touch one of the splotches and watch as a tear of clear liquid. Oh god, it's pus. What the hell? Something grabs the front of my robes and pulls me up. Are you listening, pet? I said... I was worried about small moves, but that huge lurch pushes my stomach over the edge, and I immediately projectile vomit straight into the middle of Cassius's torso. We both stare at the mess with his fur, which is starting to drip down heavily onto his garments. Oh gods! Oh gods! The wolf screeches out at the same time I vomit again right in the same spot. Cassius immediately stumbles back, screeching as he waves his paws uselessly at the mess, then actually starts to retach himself. I'm not able to see if he's actually throwing up too. Instead, I crumble and sit on the ground, feeling the world spin around me. Thankfully, the next thing I hear is Amicus' voice. It sounds like it's coming from far away, even though I can tell that he's crouching right next to me. What did you do to him, Cassius? I did nothing! I hear splattering noises. Mark, what happened? What's wrong? I sway and Amicus lets me lean into him despite my vomit-covered robes. I don't know. Wasn't the food, are you? I stick out an arm and I feel the wolf catch it delicately, examining it. Gods. He mumbles it under his breath. What happened, Cassius? I hear more footsteps, and for some reason I feel myself becoming embarrassed that everyone's seeing me like this. That barbarian! He vomited on me! It sounds like Cassius is about to cry, and for some reason that's pretty funny to me right now. I try to laugh, but my throat is so sore. Virginia, he's sick. We need to get him back to the palace. Get in the carriage. It's too slow. I feel the world tilt as I seem to just levitate off the ground. Then I realize that Amicus has picked me up. The Praetors have much more faster vehicles. We could get one from them. Mark. I hear his voice, but for some reason I can't respond. It's like a dream. There's no time. I'm running back. Amicus. Oh my gosh. I feel my body bouncing up and down, thrown left and right. It's like I'm in some kind of demented thrill ride. I reach out into the darkness to stop it somehow, but all I feel is something furry and warm. Everything hurts and itches at the same time. What is this? Mark, hey, stay with me. I'm here. Who? I force my eyes open even though they burn so much. I stare up at the gnarled things above me and I wonder what they are. All that comes to mind are bony, skinless hands reaching up to the sky. Can you hear me? There's a breathless, wheezing voice above me as the horrible bouncing ride continues. I just want to sleep. There's another sound, an odd droning one, and the earthquake finally stops. Amicus, get in, you fool! Neferu, he's having seizures! He has pustules all over his body! The voice above me sobs and gasps, but I want to reach up and put a hand over his mouth so it's quiet, so that I can sleep. Calm yourself, Virginia. Have a physician float into the palace. You need to. Oh, are we gonna die? Everything mercifully goes quiet again. I float through a void of quiet, soft black clouds that tickle and nip at my skin. It itches, and I want to itch, but something seems to be holding me down. I open my eyes slowly, staring up at the ceiling. I'm starting to get really annoyed that I can't just fall asleep. I have so much to do tomorrow. We're going on a trip to Naples, I think, to try the authentic Italian pizza. I'm gonna have a terrible time if I don't get at least a little. I realize that I can't move. Icy fear grips my chest, and at the same time, I see something large skittling up the wall. A giant spider skitters upwards, its movement off like it's a puppet being pulled up by strings. It moves across the ceiling, and even though it's the size of a giant crab, I can't move at all. Adastrian arachnids are disturbingly large. I grip my teeth and it comes to a stop above my head, then falls straight down onto my face, legs fan out. Get off! I shove it at the things pressing at my face. I told you to hold him down. I'm trying, Mark. Listen to me, please. You're safe. We're helping you. I focus on the monsters above me, their massive white teeth and red glowing eyes. Their horrible hands come down to press with me, and I feel the prickling pain all over my skin. I trash around, but it's no use. They're too strong. He's having another seizure. I lean against the side of a building on the empty road. The night is peaceful and quiet, mostly quiet. I hear clopping sounds in the distance, galloping sounds. I frown and lean forward a bit, looking up at the dark road. I see a horse running towards me. Its eyes glow red and spit flies from its mouth. Afraid, I press myself closer to the building, but the horse ignores me. Instead, as it runs past me, I see that it's dragging something. A wolf's headless body, the arms spread out, the stump leaving a long red streak across the cobblestones. I open my mouth to scream. What the hell is going on? I guess we're like having a fever dream. We have nothing on record for his species. Then profile him! Is there a reason why we don't? Oh wait, is there a reason why we don't? Just heal him, please. It's just aviapox. But clearly it has a different effect on his species. His nervous system is already damaged beyond repair. You should consider. Ooh. Things never seem to go as planned, do they? I am sorry that you had to experience this. I did not foresee it. Didn't we? Did we see this guy? We saw this guy before, didn't we? Or maybe not. No, I think this is new. I don't think we've seen this guy before. No, I don't think we did. I think this is the voice. We had a voice before, though. Do not worry. You are still on the correct course. You will be able to complete this task. I just need a little time. Who the hell is this? Is this... Oh, is this one of the parents? He died! No! Did he die? Oh, he must be a parent. Understand that this will not be easy, even for the parents. The pain will be temporary. What's happening? You will know in time, but not yet. Time loses meaning. Blackness, simultaneously external and non-existent. Nightmares ebb and flow, building and fading. Scenes from my earliest childhood to my landing on Adastra, all wrapped by horrific and violent imagery that never happened. Oh man, okay, so apparently we died, but as soon as each one ends, I forget just like any other dream, except one. I'm huddled in the seat of the ship, freezing cold, numb with desperation and the fear of impending death. How is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? I glance back at the crumbled form of the wolf in the back of the ship. His head is freed by a pool of blood, the metal pipe just a few feet away from where I had dropped it. I've made a huge mistake. The anger and terror I'd been feeling over the past several hours, days, weeks, builds until I scream and smash both my fists on the glowing panels in front of me. The next thing I know, light blasts the interior of the ship and I cover my face with my hands. Still, the light pierces through and I see blood red. The ship vibrates violently and I know right away that we're being pulled into it. I reach out despite the impossible uselessly pounding at the unresponsive panels. After a few moments, the brightness and heat become unbearable and I finally throw myself to the floor, crawling away, crawling toward my wolf. Amicus, help! But the light continues to grow and soon everything is lit up in a blinding white, the heat so intense that the metal melts underneath my hands and knees. I'm on fire. I am fire. I feel lines of molten lead course from the base of my neck, down my spine, branching out into my limbs, even my toes and fingers. I can only float in the inferno, dumbly wondering why I still feel as if I'm dead, wondering if this is death as the ship, the wolf, and I become part of the star. Once again, time is lost and I only exist as fire. I stare up at the sky, the air suddenly cool as I try to comprehend the sudden change from the harsh, all-consuming starlight to the gentle, cold moonlight. Still, fire continues to lance through my head, neck, spine, and limbs in agonizing lines. My body mapped as a tortured stick figure. It hurts. Hurts more than anything I've ever experienced, but it's fading after what happened to the star, so I try to relax in the sand. After a few minutes, I realize that I can hear the waves, and I feel something drawing me toward the water. I'm a little scared of getting up, of any movement at all, terrified that it might trigger the pain anew. But it doesn't. It almost feels like I'm not moving at all. I glide toward the water, watching the surface reflect the bright planet and moon in hypnotic ripples. Entering the lake and feeling the cold, gentle water wash over my skin is the best feeling I've ever felt. It envelops me slowly, moving up my legs, torso, and finally my head. And just like that, the pain and fire is chased away, subdued to a dull, tingly throb. I gasp in relief, somehow able to breathe under the water. Oops, sorry. Things are getting real right now. I drift through the dark water, watching the globes of light dance and sway above me before I finally resurface. It's only then that I remember. Amicus. Fear grips me. Was he still on that ship? Did I leave him behind in the start? I look up and see the lights glittering from the palace, and I begin to swim towards it, somehow moving much faster than I should be able to. Instead of us swimming to the beach, though, I end up moving toward the balcony, straight to Amicus's room. As I get closer, I realize that someone is on the balcony. It's Amicus, and my heart fills with relief. He's got his back to the railing, leaning against it casually. Even though I can only see it from behind, I realize that it's not the Amicus I know. Instead, he's in full robes and he's a lot more skinny than I remember. I slow down, wondering why he's not looking at me with all the splashing noises I'm making. Just as I'm about to call up to him, though, I see brown arms wrap around him, smothering over his arms and back, and that's when Amicus turns to the side. I see now that those arms belong to another wolf, smaller and brown-furred, one that I've never seen before. Amicus is doing the same to him, paws moving around his body in a way that's awkward and hesitant, a pair of young lovers making out for the first time. I watch, suddenly feeling embarrassed. I'm back in Amicus's room, and that same teenaged wolf is now on the sofa, bent over, hiding his face behind his paws. I've never seen Amicus really cry, but I can tell that's what he's doing now. I feel a sense of complete and utter shame. The feeling that you've left everyone down. It consumes me. I reach out toward the young wolf, wanting to comfort him, wondering if he'll even know who I am. Suddenly, I'm sucked back into the cosmos. There is no parrot this time. Instead, I float peacefully through the vacuum, staring down at what I assume is Adastra. Even though there isn't anyone here with me, I sense beings all around me. I also get a sense of approval, like their work is done. Finish Mara's work, young human. Just like that, I start to drift back down toward the moon, descending faster and faster until everything becomes a blur. We are gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there. I think this is a good part to stop at. Okay. So apparently, when that little girl touched us, she gave us something. But we died from it. And a parent finally came to us and brought us back to life. That's frightening. Ooh, things are getting... Okay, things are getting real interesting. This is why we gotta stop. I gotta stop. I have to. It's getting late. I gotta stop. I got work tonight. We're gonna stop now. We're gonna save right there. Things are getting really interesting now. I'm really interested in what's gonna happen now. Alright, so like I said, it's the part of the stream, the worst part of the stream where I have to end everything. Because things are getting really... I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen now. Alright, everyone. I hope that you all enjoyed the stream. I'm getting really excited. I can't wait to get to the next part. But, this is the end of the stream. Thank you to everybody who stopped by and watched me, and watched the stream. Just a reminder, if you like what you see, feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe to the channel. If you have any other recommendations of visual novels I can play, both furry or non, feel free to send me a private message or even comment down below. With that being said, though, this has been a real adventure, and I'm excited to keep going with this. Hopefully, in a few days, I'll try and the latest next week, I will definitely be streaming more of this. But with all that being said, this has been Fallenwolf, and and you have been part of the Fallen. And you have been part of the Fallen Pack, and I'll see you next time, everyone. Take care, and keep yourself safe. Bye.